Tom from Dirk Witte Music Store in Utrecht, the Netherlands. Today we're taking a look at another very cool vintage 1960s, kind of like smaller body style Gibson acoustic. This one has tons and tons of mojo. This is a 1968 Gibson B-25 in its original natural finish. And when I mean tons of mojo, I mean tons of mojo. This has been played a lot. Like, by no means an underestimation or an understatement. This has been played a lot. It has seen a lot of things, heard a lot of things, probably also experienced a lot of things, resulting in this absolute mojo machine with a very cool and unique sound. You can definitely hear that this has lived. So very cool little guitar. One of the, yet another smaller style Gibson acoustic. This is basically just an LG1. We have actually covered a couple of LG1s in previous weeks and months. But this is basically an LG1. But they, for some reason, they rebranded the name. They gave the LG1 a new name. That being the B-25, so it just features the exact same specs, apart from some specs of like the time that you would then like see on a whole range of models. So yeah, let's dive into those. So we've got again kind of like an LG/B-25 body style, so this kind of like a smaller style body. Shrunken down J45, I like to call it, because it is just kind of just looks like that. Kind of got the sloped shoulders, but obviously this is a lot smaller than a J45 because the overall dimensions are just smaller. It's not as wide, not as deep, but we've got spruce and mahogany. The top is a solid Sitka spruce, and it just looks super cool, incredibly vibey with all of that patina. We also got some repaired cracks, what it seems. So we've got a crack running here and then over here. It is all intact, so it has been repaired probably more than once. And it also used to come with a pickguard. You can see that faint outline, but that was probably removed a long time ago. But apart from that, obviously we've also got all of these playing marks all over. So finish checking, scratches, nicks, dings, you name it. It has it all. We've then got some 3-ply binding around the top, and then the back and sides are mahogany. I'm not 100% sure if that is solid mahogany or not. I'm guessing it is, but a little bit hard to verify, because this model in the late 1960s would sometimes, not always, I believe, but it would then get laminated mahogany back and sides. So could also be laminated mahogany, but again, not 100% sure, kind of hard to verify. But it also features that very same mojo that you see on the top. On top of that, kind of like a cherry stain. Somebody had also installed a strap over here, a strap button, which has been removed since, which was not very wise, because it is not supposed to be there. Probably should have been way better if they had done that on the heel, but it is now part of the story of this very cool guitar. We've actually got some X bracing, which is kind of interesting to see, because I can see an X running through or like running underneath this top. So that is how this does differ from the LG1, because that would get ladder bracing, but this gets X bracing, which does give it like a little bit of a different tonal character, a little bit more low end. But this being a smaller body, it doesn't have a whole lot of low end to begin with, but this does give the top a little bit more room to give you that low end. The bridge is made out of probably just out of plastic. That is also what you would see on a lot of models made by Gibson in those days, in the mid 1960s. A plastic style bridge, so that is correct. It also features the adjustable saddle. if the saddle itself is also made out of plastic, not 100% sure. Could be, does look to be, but it could also be some other synthetic material, but not really an expert on this, I must say. But you do then got the adjustable screws over here on the side, so that you can then lower and heighten your saddle to your liking. Got these white bridge pins, which do appear to be very old at the very least, except for this one here for the G string that was definitely replaced, because that features that little black dot, and it is also a little bit smaller. So my gut tells me that the other ones are original, because they also seem to be error correct, but that one then got lost or broke or whatever and then got replaced. Got your strap button over here on the end pin, which also appears to be original. And then moving on to the neck, we've got a mahogany neck, one-piece mahogany with a little bit of a slim profile, also quite narrow, which is also kind of typical for like late 1960s Gibsons. The electrics would also get quite narrow necks. So this one also then has the more narrow style neck. Quite comfortable, but very nicely rounded, so definitely a C-shape place, and feels really, really good. Has not had a neck repair, fortunately, which yeah, is always a good thing. But also there on the back, I mean, tons of mojo, like a lot of finish checking, and like on the edges of the fingerboard, also just tons of wear. Looks super, super cool. The fingerboard is made out of rosewood, and it is missing like half of its inlays. So this used to have obviously dot inlays on each of the frets that you would normally see them, but we have lost the one on the 5th fret, the one on the 9th fret, one of the two on the 12th fret, and then like 4 remain. So yeah, that is also kind of cool. Does give it a unique look and just looks super, super vibey. Just adds to the vibe. Just really like adds to the vibe. The frets are actually in a pretty good shape. Not 100% sure if these are original or not, but they do play really, really well, and there's actually still quite some life left in them, but probably has had a level recrown in its life, or maybe 2. Got the original, what appears to be like a micarta nut that you would get on Gibson acoustics in these days, at least on this model. But it is probably original, because you do see kind of like that lacquer there on the sides, and it definitely looks comparable to like a vintage Gibson acoustic nuts from those days. And then the headstock, also tons of mojo, just like the rest of the guitar, with a lot of finish checking, so finish missing. And yeah, but the silk screen is really nicely intact, and then just your blank black truss cover, then 3 on a row, or 3 on the side tuners with the plastic tips. Last thing to mention, also comes with a case, kind of like a soft shell case, but more than likely not original, but kind of like a similar case that you would find in those days when you would get this guitar brand new. So that is very nice to have, and it also just works pretty well. So yeah, incredibly vibey little acoustic, maybe Gibson from the 1960s. We really like these LG1s, LG2s, and yeah, then also the B-25s here. They really do have a tone of character of their own, and this one being played as much as it has really gives this just a totally unique character. Like, you get a sound from this that is quite not like anything else. It really sounds old, as you will hear so in a minute. So let's move on to that part and hear what it actually sounds like. But first, if you're interested in this 1968 Gibson B-25 acoustic guitar, be sure to head over to the links in the description for further details. If you enjoyed this demo, be sure to like the video and to subscribe to the channel for more cool weekly demos of cool acoustic guitars like these, or cool electrics, bass guitars even, of that really cool stuff. Also be sure to like us and follow us on our socials, Instagram, Facebook. Links are also in the description. With all that being said, So what is incredibly vibey 1968 Gibson B25 acoustic guitar sounds like. Going to be playing you some chords and then some fingerstyle playing so that you can get a good impression of what this incredibly vibey vintage acoustic Gibson from the 1960s sounds like. So let's move on to that part and let's hear what it sounds like, and let's take it for a spin.